I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
Odd places going viral. Take it,
Yeah.
Josh.
Getting angry over people calling out the irony of the president's situation, his health situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, people getting angry over that, people calling that out, the irony of it, is the all lives matter of morality.
Ooh, this is a deep one. Hold on, you're gonna have to back up a little bit.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so the calling out the irony.
Yeah, so there's
And
people making fun of our president and his illness
yes,
because he's flouted the rules, so it's just this ironic aspect.
yes.
And people are getting angry at that. They're saying, why don't you have compassion? Why don't you have more empathy? Meanwhile, this is a guy that's never had an empathetic bone in his body for 4 years that he's led our country.
That is an assumption. You are assuming.
That's my
that.
opinion. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
okay. That's your opinion.
I mean, I could back it up with about 15 volumes of like an encyclopedia of data. But yeah, that's my opinion. But people getting angry over that, of us kind of making fun a little bit and calling out the irony, that's like saying all lives matter. That's kind of
wow. Okay.
in my opinion.
You've got a parallel going on here. You've got Black Lives Matter, okay?
Right.
And you have All Lives Matter, okay?
Yeah.
And you're bringing in a third rail, which is if we are going to make fun of the irony of what's going on with the virus and the president getting the virus, that and people who get upset at that, it's like saying all lives matter.
Correct.
Got it. And what's wrong with all lives matter? Is it diminishing Black Lives Matter?
Yes. It's the response when you don't want to deal with the actual problem. Black lives, of course, all lives matter, but we're saying Black Lives Matter because they're being disproportionately affected, killed by police, harassed. And when you say all lives matter, you're saying, I don't want to deal with the problem. I don't want to deal with what we need to focus on.
How do you make that connection between all lives matter and the irony? That's a nebulous connection for me. How do you do that?
Because the irony of making fun of Trump for catching the virus, which he's flouted all the health rules. He's basically, we're now supposed to have empathy for a guy that has had no empathy for the victims, for the 200,000 people that have already died. So it's just one of those, I think it's a deflection from the history saying, now you need to be empathetic because the president has it. But prior to that, no one seemed to have empathy for the 200,000 people that died under his watch due to his negligence. I'm just drawing that parallel. It's a stretch. I admit.
Okay, I have it. There's another ironic thing that came out, and that was, I have never seen the tweets that have said the 5 women who in 2018 got onto the House of Representatives, ACO, I think is AOC, and the other 4, and
is this where he told them to go back home to their country or something?
No, it's that people are tweeting to make the demise of the president, okay, to I guess die, and Twitter is taking them down and saying, no, we don't allow that. And they are coming and saying, hey, isn't it ironic? Where was Twitter when we were getting bombarded with? And I never saw those tweets of, go to hell, whatever, die, whatever it is. So there is an ironic twist in this. Now, I do understand the office of the president. You do not want to throw out death threats to whoever is in the presidency. Yeah. I mean, however, when the presidency, and I don't know if he ever did this, maybe you can tell me, in a twit.
Oh, he's definitely done some twits. There's no question about that.
If those have come out to say death or I hope you die to the 5 women, there's a lot of that I do not know. The point I'm making is there is an ironic element to this that, oh my gosh, now we can't say disparaging things because the president has the virus. In the same token, the president poo-poos the idea of the virus, and then when he gets it, we're supposed to be empathetic. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah. And I don't think it's about wishing him dead. That's not what it's about. No one's really done that that I've seen. It's just having fun and humor with just the irony of it. Pure irony of it. That's it.
Right.
In fact, I hope he lives. By the way, I hope he lives. I hope he lives till January 22nd at least, and beyond is fine. I hope he lives to see the inauguration of the next president. I really do.
Okay. Why?
Because that just feels right. It just feels right that he should see who the next president is after probably what's going to be a landslide defeat based on things I'm seeing.
All right. So
justice. That's what it's.
What it sounds like to me is we're playing a game. This is a game we're playing, and the rules keep changing. And you brought it up with this irony. I brought it up with the irony with the 5 women in the house. The other irony is the whole SCOTUS appointment, which is very ironic. It is. You're playing a game and they change the rules. You get to the 2-yard line and they don't give you a flag and send you back 10 yards. No, they just say, hey, you're at the 2-yard line and only your team, when you get to 2-yard line, we got to put you at the midfield. Well, and that is injustice.
It's duplicitous. Yeah.
Yes. If you see that, injustice just kills me. I mean, it doesn't kill me. It just drives me wild. How can you be duplicitous like that and ironic in those regard, and then turn around and go, be empathetic? Hey, where was Twitter when they were threatening our lives? And 4 years ago, why didn't we let the Supreme Court justice at least get a vote?
Yeah.
That is just not right. There is nothing right about that.
Right. At the end of the day, it's our fault. We allow this stuff to happen. We're electing these officials, right? It's still.
Okay. Yes, we are electing the officials. We are. We are. You're right. The buck stops with us. And since we are in the middle of an election right now, boom. The people, the citizens will vote and they will decide. It is just ironic. It's duplicitous. How do you not be this blatantly duplicitous?
Yeah. For example, let's go back to All Lives Matter.
Okay.
Where was All Lives Matter prior to 1968? In the 50s, when there were signs everywhere saying whites only, sorry, we don't serve your kind here, when they were being lynched and still being lynched. So where was All Lives Matter then? It's just this weird thing where it's a distraction. It's a, we don't want to deal with the real problem, so we're just going to say this and make ourselves feel better.
Right. What happened was, what is it, 4 years ago? 4 years ago, Black Lives Matter became American lexicon. Yeah. And then after that, blue lives and all lives and yellow lives and green lives and blue lives, all these other lives mattered. The original lives that matter was the Black Lives Matter because of the boil that was trying to be lanced, the awareness that I think America kind of came across, and with George Floyd was the spark that just started this fire. I use that as a metaphor, as a fire, as people becoming passionate about doing something. Everything else followed after that. All lives, blue lives, green lives, yellow lives. Yep. So the original life was the Black lives, and I totally get that. I don't think we're arguing that at all.
But I still find it amusing that people will get butthurt, let's say, um, over calling out this duplicitous nature
Yeah,
that we have.
yeah. Look at yourself on the other side, though. We have a couple minutes. Look at
Okay.
yourself on the other side. What if this happened to you? What if you were supportive of a president who did this? I mean, supportive, like you voted for that president and you supported him and you were there for him. I mean, because
I would
that's
I would I would flog myself 30 times with a wet noodle, and I would vote for someone else next time. But I wouldn't stand up for him continually. At some point, I would hope I would realize I made a mistake. It's okay.
okay.
I've,
You know how
I've screwed
hard
all
it
kinds
is.
of shit up.
You know how hard it is to get to the point where you say, "I made a mistake." I mean, you know what kind of work you have to do on yourself to get to that. When was the last time you said, "I made a mistake"? I dropped the ball.
Probably every day I say that to myself. There's something I screw up.
I mean, when do you say it to someone
I
else? When do you?
probably several times a month. I don't know. I don't
Okay,
count.
all right. I know
But it's not
my.
it's not rare. It's not rare.
Okay, yeah, I do it uh, probably on a weekly basis where I drop the ball. I've got to
Yeah.
get my integrity back. I've got to say, hey, sorry, I dropped the ball. I'm not going to do that anymore. We'll try not to do that anymore. We'll attempt not to do that anymore. And that's hard to do. I mean, for someone who does not want to say they made a mistake, we all make mistakes. To say, I made a mistake. I need to move on, or I did the wrong thing.
But here's the thing.
Um,
I don't think that's part of it, though. I don't think that's part of the reason why they get butthurt or why they continue to follow Trump. These are one issue voters, maybe two issue voters. There's one thing they like about him, whether it be a religious thing or they hate the same people he does. I don't know.
mhm.
But they're willing to overlook everything else.
Yeah,
Everything else doesn't matter. Oh, he's an asshole. He's this, he's that. So I'm still going to have fun because we have to.
yeah. I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
Odd places going.
Viral.
Yeah. Wow, Josh, motherfucker.